Good morning and welcome to the market forecast for Tuesday, January the 12th. My name is John Hoagland. As always, thanks for trusting me with your time. I hope that you're feeling rested and ready for another exciting trading day today. As always, we're going to look at these markets in context through the lens of risk management. As far as news is concerned, not a lot of economic numbers due out today. At 9 o'clock this morning, we had the job openings and labor turnover survey. Probably not going to be that impactful. Possibly more impactful in the equities markets and the treasuries markets might be the fact that we do have 6 talking Feds today, 6 members of the FOMC committee speaking today. Dems are working on beginning impeachment on President Trump tomorrow, and unfortunately, I never know how to talk about this, but the COVID deaths are at record levels right now. So make sure you say a prayer for those that are working so hard to help us, those that are working so hard on curing us, and get a little bit of help from God with a little bit of prayer as well. As far as other news is concerned, stock index futures consolidating for the most part last night and edged a little bit higher on stimulus hopes after sustaining small losses yesterday. The incoming administration is promising further stimulus in the trillions of dollars. Investors are looking forward to the coming earnings season, which is just about upon us. The U.S. dollar continues to firm up as Treasury yields begin to jump. Crude prices rallied last night to a 11-month high, probably more on the Saudi pledge to voluntarily cut production, but we are looking for U.S. information today in the API as well as the EIA tomorrow at 9:30 Central, as usual on Wednesday. I want to say good morning to everybody. Make sure that you do like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified when we do go live, if you would so like. First one in the room, Vladislav. You win the prize this morning, Vlad. The infamous Felix Escobar is in the room. Good morning, Felix. The real one, good morning. Will Doherty. Good morning, Charles, Chris, Bill, Caesar, Main Point, Big Ideas. Good morning. How can I watch the group coaching for last week again? If I did send you the link, you can still watch it. You use that same link, Main Point. I'm pretty sure I remember if that was the case. What I do want to remind everybody is we'd have that again this Wednesday. I just put in the link to the group coaching Wednesday at 1 p.m. Central Time, and hopefully you'll join me and have some good questions, and hopefully I'll be able to answer them. I do truly enjoy those sessions. I like to be challenged, and if I don't know something, believe me, I'm going to tell you. If I know something, we're going to work together to share that information. If there's something I don't know, maybe there's something we can learn together. The chef is here. Chef Mike is here. Danny from the Cowboy State. Yeehaw. Laura. JD, the Dancing Bear, is here. Good morning, JD. Esteban. Murph, good morning. James Sajor, good morning. Tim. Marcos. Art. Vast West. Prophet Eon, good morning. Good morning, traders. Prophet Eon, I think I saw something about you that you had succeeded in something here, perhaps yesterday. Congratulations if that's the case. Good morning, Keith. Thanks for mentioning God. It's first thing in my mind every day. Main Point. Daich, good morning. Just passed my pro account yesterday. Excellent. Thank you for all your help. It's my pleasure. That is what marks a degree of success for me, is when I've helped somebody get to a level that they've never been before, and hopefully that success is going to continue. And we'll look forward to hearing from you as to how things continue to go, and hopefully well. Rocker, hello everyone. Angelina, Cesar, are you a bass player, John? No. I've been a drummer since I was in first grade. I haven't really been doing much of that lately, but I'm also a guitarist. Maybe you're seeing the guitar fingerboard fretboard up there. that fell off. I sometimes will buy like cheap old garage sale guitars and I hang them in my trees in my backyard because I like to tell people when they come over that the guitars live in the trees in my house, and some of them are migratory. Some of them stay all winter. This was a particular one that had been out there for a few years, and the fingerboard fell off of it. So I thought I would put it up there. I thought it's kind of a cool thing. Justin Day Trades, Jose, Troy. Good morning, everyone. All right, let's get to our charts here. As always, we like to start with the daily in crude. Let me make sure I've got the right things up here. And Mr. Shine's Mystery Channel. I haven't seen you for a while. Glad to see you. Hello to you as well. What's my favorite music group? I don't know. Let me think about that. Let's start with different music genres first. If it's rock and roll, it's got to be Led Zeppelin. All right. So let's take a look at the charts here, as always, starting with the daily in crude. Let me get my stuff together here. It is rollover in crude oil. Try not to forget that. It does tend to create range-bound markets, although the market has been pretty directional since beginning of November. And it appears to be continuing that momentum to the upside, although we're starting to see perhaps a few signs that the market is losing some of that momentum, especially coming into rollover. The Saudi production cuts continue to bolster buyers. A little bit of an inside day yesterday. We lost 7,500 in open interest, and all of that was lost in the front month, was in the February month. The next 10 contract months all added open interest yesterday. So rollover is definitely a factor in what's going on in this market this week. The lower overall volume yesterday, and the fact that it is rollover does indicate some of that slowing momentum. We lost 7,500 in open interest yesterday, 14,000 in the February contract. So the rollover is certainly on. Overall volume, not just the February volume, was off a little bit, just for your information. It's a digestive day yesterday. Are we going to be directional today? Upside structure remains good. Actually looks like it's accelerating a little bit. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart here and see if we can see what we are looking at. So we've opened with a gap. Settlement was actually one tick below the previous settlement, below Friday's settlement. So a lot of consolidation going on yesterday, a lot of probably beginning the rollover starting yesterday. And we're going to be seeing what we're seeing this morning. We've got levels we haven't seen in 11 months. Back in February was the last time we were here. Remember the May expiration when crude oil traded negative 40? So a lot's been going on in the last 11 months, and here we are back above $53. And I know that that's probably a relief for I know that's a relief for many in the petroleum industry, of course. So probably a lot of relief going on there, but we've got information coming out this afternoon with the API, information coming out tomorrow with the EIA. What are we looking at in the short time frame, though? Well, settlement is down here, 52.25. Put that on your charts. We've got a pretty big overnight inventory on the long side here, and we've got a gap open. So if we can't close this gap, I would say that the information about the Saudis reducing their production levels is having a pretty big effect. We don't know what's going to happen with the API or the EIA. If we can't close this gap, I'm going to look for opportunities to find looking for opportunities for longs. Now, take a look at what we just did here. We just opened. We got into this little consolidation area, which I know many of you would be considering. a demand zone because the market got up here, consolidated, and moved higher overnight. This demand zone still seems to be providing a degree of support. So this is what I'm going to be looking for. If we can't close the gap relatively early, this little demand zone right here might have been just the ticket to look for a continuation to the long side. I'm always thinking about where I can limit my risk the most, and this looks like a pretty decent opportunity to do that. So with the gap open, we can't close the gap. I'll look for this market to continue to rotate higher. Don't forget we have weekly kickoff high up at 54.60 before we're really going to start to see longer, stronger players need to adjust inventory even though it's rollover. So I'm going to take a look here into the S&Ps. Okay, here's the 30. So, what do we have here? Let's make it big so we can see. Upside structure, good. Momentum to the upside was showing relatively good. A little bit of an acceleration last week to the upside. We're in our second inside day in extended trading hours. The market is seeking new information. It's going to be getting some very soon. If only when earnings begin. A lot of folks are, of course, investors are going to be wondering how these companies are doing that comprise these equity indices. Also looking, to see what kind of stimulus is coming down the pipe. We added approximately 10,600 in open interest yesterday. Kind of interesting on lower volume, maybe indicating that there's a little bit of slowing in momentum volume-wise, but that increase in open interest still indicates, hey, we still got people interested in getting into this market. So where are we on the 30-minute chart? Oh, I keep wrestling with these things, and I apologize. I do not want to waste anybody's time. So inside, largely inside, Friday, Monday to Friday, inside Tuesday to Friday, the market really consolidating and looking for new information. And believe me, it will find it at some point. We've got coiling activity going on. In other words, we've got lower highs and higher lows. As that continues, the market will get closer and closer to breaking out of that and maybe finding some directional activity. As far as the 30-minute is concerned, we've got settlement down here, 37.92 even. The market really just taking a look down to our previous weekly kickoff level here at 37.85, which lines up nicely with our low of value from yesterday. The market not even really open yet. No real overnight information or inventory to work with. Opening in range and really centrally located, if that is the case at 8:30. I'm going to try and stay really patient in this market. It seems to be having a little bit of trouble holding rallies. Friday, big rally. Sunday night, coming off. Yesterday, opening, trying to rally, coming off. But again, we're still putting in higher lows and lower highs as this market continues to, I think, build momentum, build energy for the next move. So inside this value area, I want to stay patient. Where are my target-rich environments? Well, I'm thinking that this value low right next to a previous weekly kickoff level might be, and may already have been before the open, an interesting opportunity for an execution. We didn't quite get there, but we held here. We failed to hold below there. We failed to hold below this weekly kickoff level here yesterday. This would just make sense that if it's held before, it may hold again. At the very least, it gives us the opportunity to limit our risk. Always looking for these kind of convergences with which to limit my risk. All right, so now let's take a look into the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is always in just a little different situation than the S&Ps. We've seen resistance at weekly kickoff high. I did not change weekly kickoff high in the Nasdaq this week over the weekend because I wasn't all that impressed with the move to the upside that we saw on Friday. Thursday, we took that close above that level. We took it back. So I'm not necessarily convinced that our longer time frame buyers were forced to do anything up here. As a matter of fact, yesterday on the move down, we only added 300 in open interest, almost negligible. Volume was also relatively slow on the move down yesterday. One thing we know about our stock indices is when the market is down, volume usually increases. So it's kind of interesting that we had a low volume down day right off the all-time high yesterday. Political controversies perhaps hurting tech a little bit yesterday, something that we want to keep an eye on. But the medium time frame upside structure does remain intact. So we've got to be able to remember to trade what we see. As far as the 30-minute chart is concerned, where are we? Well, here's our high from last week. There's that settlement above weekly kickoff high, but I wasn't impressed by it, so we left that weekly kickoff high, and it is continuing to provide resistance. Yesterday, Monday, we had a move to the downside. We had settlement from yesterday at 12,897 even. I was looking at gold. So again, where are we now? What are we looking at? We're looking at the fact that the market has really stayed pretty much in range and in value for the better part of the session. It's attempted to leave value. Whether or not it's successful yet is yet to be known, yet to be seen. Our session low from yesterday seems to have provided a little bit of support in the short time frame. I'll be watching the opening range. I'm going to be looking if we are going to open in range and even back in value. I'm going to look for opportunities as the initial balance, as the first hour of regular hours begins to establish itself. That's where the market is going to have found a bit of range, and if it remains in that range, it'll give us some good opportunities throughout the day. I will also be looking at the opening range trade if it exists. If the opening range is left at one extreme or the other, and the opening range is not too excessively large, in other words, increasing my risk, it would be something that I would be thinking about today in the Nasdaq. Gold. Daily chart. It's an interesting market. It most certainly is. The island low that we put in down here really brought forth a pretty decent upside move. But it wasn't really enough to break the downside structure that we've been in since August. We're seeing lower highs, we're seeing lower lows. We're really kind of in the middle of that range right now. Does it mean that there's not good opportunity? Well, of course, there's always, usually, some pretty decent opportunity in these markets. There was a good opportunity this morning off the opening range. Low volume yesterday, 1,000 contract increase in open interest. It does appear with the lower volume and the kind of small open interest increase that we may be slowing the momentum to the downside. Yesterday, look at the low volume, not a big increase in open interest near a weekly kickoff level. We tried to get to that weekly kickoff level, and we were unable to even reach it yesterday. This trend line seems to be somehow supportive. I'm not sure why or where, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points of contact before we get to this level. So even though that has been pierced, it has been rejected. It was pierced here. Now we're coming back to it. And is it going to be supportive? It's a great question. Look at our low for the session today, 1835.80, another direct contact on that level. What happened in the 30-minute chart this morning? Okay, well, we had a little bit of overnight long inventory. Our opening range remains the high of the regular trading hour session. So if we were to take that opening range trade, let's say The low of it was, let's call it 1855. I'm not sure how big the opening range was off of this chart, but the market had some longs. We closed the gap instantly. We took the market back to settlement, back to point of control, back to the low of value, and then right back to that trend line on the daily chart for an even test of it. So this trade, this opening range trade, if we shorted at 1855, 1845 gives us 1,000, gives us 100 ticks. 1835 gives us 100 ticks. This is a really nice opportunity off that opening range trade. And, if the risk was 15 ticks, if we were able to get even 100 ticks, we're looking at, 5-6 to 1 reward over risk on a first thing in the morning opportunity. It was a very nice opportunity if you were there, if you are looking at that opening range as an opportunity. That's what I'm going to be looking at in our equities perhaps as they open up. One of the things I watch in every market is how that opening range is treated. If that opening range remains the high of the session, sellers may be in control all day long. We don't know. It's also a useful reference level for later on in this session. If sellers come in, move the market lower, and they can't hold the market below that opening, maybe there's another opportunity to the upside. Okay, so the euro. Euro seems to be just kind of dragging along that weekly kickoff low for a couple of sessions now. Traded really close to it yesterday. A little bit of a look at it so far in this session. Volume, kind of slower. Open interest, we did add 2,100 in open interest. That's the estimated number on this test of weekly kickoff low. So it has me wondering, how long are we going to be able to drag along this weekly kickoff low before we exhaust any buyers that exist at that level? Not quite sure if that's ever going to happen, but when we start to see open interest increasing towards one of these levels, it seems as though our sellers may be a little bit emboldened to the downside here. We've got to get through this level. We've got to break it, and then we've got to accept below it before I'll believe that we've exhausted any buyers that may be down at that level. Inside day, near the weekly kickoff low, inside range. What do I always say? Patience. Overnight low and value low, I have written in my notes here, were interesting areas. Okay. High level, what do I call them? High level targets or something like that. I forget. But the low of value, the low of range, the weekly kickoff low, our overnight low, all pretty tightly packed together here, looking for some possibly decent opportunities for an execution down here, and we may have already missed that boat, but that's okay. We're still in range. We're still in value. It's still indicating that our best trade location may still come later on in the session. Great trade location right here if you were looking for it and you kind of preempted the move to value low from yesterday. But don't worry, there will be more opportunities in this market as the day goes on and certainly as the week goes on. So taking a look now at the Japanese yen, low volume yesterday on that move to the downside. We lost 2,400 in open interest. It certainly looks as though our momentum to the downside may be starting to fall off. Lower volume, open interest dropping. We got an inside day in extended trading hours so far today. It's pretty centrally located between weekly kickoff high and weekly kickoff low, which indicates probably more shorter time frame control. And where are we? We're right in the middle of value. We haven't even extended the regular trading hours ranges from yesterday. I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to wait for the initial balance to establish itself. Remember, that's the first hour of trade, and I'm going to work those extremes. I'm going to be looking. Take a look at our overnight low, our value low, and our low of session from yesterday. Interesting opportunity. Our high of the overnight, our high of the range from yesterday, which basically was a really just a touch of a gap close. Those are the areas I'm going to be looking for. Anything in the middle here, I'm not interested in. Not interested in. And now I see Taurus, who was it? Modesta's, how to stop the auto fit charts. I think it's right here. No? I know where it is here. Hang on. Give me 1 second here. There it is. So here, then chart settings, continuously auto fit chart, set it to off, and then save. That way it won't continue to move on you while you look at it. There you go. Settings, chart settings. Thanks, JD. I knew I would find it eventually. Or the dotted square. Oh, there it is. Auto fit. Auto fit chart. No, I don't want that. So I'm going to hit it, and there we go. Now we've turned off auto fit. Okay, boy, that seemed to be a little bit challenging. All right, so all right, a couple other things that we've got to talk about here. That's very nice of you to say. Nice prints on the wall, John. Thank you, Marcos. Marco, it's good to see you. Been hiding in the shadows. Well, only the shadow knows. Looking slick and ready to go. Hey, I'm doing my best. For an old man, maybe I'm doing all right. I actually I didn't get a haircut, but I flattened it out from last week. Prophet Ian started the premium funded account yesterday. What is your favorite guitar? I got a Gibson Les Paul Studio. Prophet Ian, excellent. That's a nice guitar. One of the guitarists in one of my last bands had that. It was a great guitar. I'm more of an acoustic. I have a Martin acoustic. I got it about 1990-ish. And it's been my main piece ever since. I've got a cheapo classical guitar that just has turned into one of my favorites. It was $100, and I love it. I bought it just to have a guitar to like bring to the beach, something that I wasn't afraid to knock around, and it turned out to be one of my favorites. But I'm more of an acoustic guy. Never really got that much into electric guitars. When I was a drummer, we were all electric, of course. Taurus, I'm in the combine, tried to have 3 times, not getting accepted. Oh, okay. I think I saw JD put you in there. Okay. I think you and I got the short on the gold trade in the combine. Nice trade. Excellent. Brian Beamish, hey, rational investor. Gee whiz, John, fantastic tutorial there on the opening range trade. 6-1 reward over risk. Very generous today with info. Hey, I try. I'm here to help. Taurus, thank you. JD, thank you for helping Taurus. It took me a little while to figure it out. I know I've seen it. Thank you, James, Brian. Good to see everybody. let's take our deep breath. I've gone a little bit long today, and I apologize. I'd like to be done before the U.S. regular trading hour open. I'm going to stay humble, grateful, and creative in my trading today. Danny should be with us for the market recap this afternoon. I look forward to seeing him. Don't forget to join up for the coaching on Wednesday at 1 o'clock. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. Bring your questions. Until then, until tomorrow, I will see you. Trade well, get out there, and profit. Have a great day.